Welcome to Foundations of Emo, hosted by Claire and Danny. Each episode we take one of our favourite bands and dive deep into their history and origins, reminiscing on our own emo roots along the way.
What were you going to say instead of history there?
I just completely blanked. Just completely nothing. No thoughts. Tumbleweeds.
I just love how you're like 2 seconds before that you're like, I'm going to keep all my burps in, I'm going to burp loads, and you're like, welcome to Foundations.
It's my phone voice.
It's like an elevator going up. This has been so long since we've done this, so I don't blame you for forgetting.
I forget how to podcast.
I forgot we even had to do that.
We haven't recorded since I came back from Milan.
Nope, because the last episode we were saying you were going to Milan.
I went to Milan.
How was Milan?
That's how time works. It was good. Went to see Knock Loose in this really, really random town outside of Milan called Trezzo alla Suda, I think, or Sudala. I don't know, I keep getting mixed up. Either way, it was the middle of nowhere. There was nothing going on. There was nowhere to get food. Like, nothing existed in this place. But when I went into the venue, it was like a medium-sized kind of venue. It was like a medium-sized venue. And when we got there was like nobody there. Like, so few people. And like the doors were open half an hour when we got there. And I was like, what do you mean there's no people here? I was like, that's really weird. And then it did, as like the support acts played and stuff, it did build up, but it was still quite empty. And we got to the second row without trying. Yeah. We're like, we'll just wander up here. And then it was like, you could just walk up. And I was like, they were right there. And I was like, this is wild. Like, you wouldn't get that at a show here.
No, definitely not.
So that was really cool. Also, one of the support acts, Deaf Heaven. I'm very divided on this band. A lot of buzz around them being like amazing.
Yeah.
They do these kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, like soundscapes kind of music, you know, like it's just all this like background kind of music, but like
okay.
It's so good, like incredible. But then the singing is like Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth, like blah, 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 blah. But seeing them live, I tried to listen to them before I went and I was like, oh no, I can't. But like seeing them live, the music was so good. I was like, if they had any other vocals, I would be obsessed with this band. I was even trying to think of other vocalists. I was thinking of like Gerard Way singing, and like when he does that kind of like desperate kind of singing. That's how he pronounces his name. Everyone else gets it wrong. Like when he's doing that like desperate singing where he's like, wah! Like that would be amazing over the top of the music. But it's the like satanic kind of.
It didn't do it for you?
Not for me. Oh. I'm so sad because they were amazing in every other aspect. I just don't like his voice.
I've never heard them.
Yeah.
I mean, they called Deaf Heaven.
Deaf Heaven.
Do you feel like... No.
Like what?
Isn't there a band called Deaf Havana? I feel like they just stole that name.
Maybe.
And rearranged the letters.
Maybe. And then Knock Loose were amazing. Arf, arf, etc.
So you'd go see them again?
Yeah,
Recommend?
Definitely. Yeah, they were brilliant. Really
Any
good.
songs they played that you weren't expecting?
No, I looked at the set list beforehand. You know who I am.
Of course.
I knew everything that was happening. Although they played a new song that wasn't on Setlist FM because no one knew what it was, and then they released the single a couple of days later.
Oh, that's cool. So you were the first.
I have a recording of it on my phone before I knew what it was. That's pretty cool.
Speaking of, when you just said soundscapes there, for some reason it reminded me of Linkin Park and, you know, all their songs in the way it's like Mr. Han. So
let's not start that again. Don't get me started.
One of the trainers in my gym is called Juan, and I just keep calling him Mr. Juan because it reminds me
of... Oh my god.
And one of the girls was like, I love how you call him that, and then I was trying to explain to her why I call him that. It's like, because it's like Mr. Han, and she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, never mind.
You wouldn't get it.
It's this band called Linkin Park. Okay.
I feel like this year is really weird for gigs in terms of like we haven't got anything really coming up.
No, I have Tay-Tay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But I even went on Ticketmaster today. I was like, surely there's gigs coming up that like for some reason I haven't heard of, and I was just looking through and I was like,
well, I'm going to Green Day in Sum 41. That's about it.
I have that ticket to Blink. I'm still not like really buzzed about, but that's not till August.
Yeah.
And then I obviously have Sleep Talking in November, but that's ages away. Like this time last year, there was a gig like every month.
But Did we know about when did we buy our Fall Out Boy tickets?
Don't know.
I feel like they're just going to announce them.
That's what I'm hoping, because at the minute it's very fucking quiet and I don't like it.
Very quiet. Tell me this and tell me no more. How was your experience of listening to Sleeping with Sirens?
Okay, so to start off, never listened to them before in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they came about when I was over my emo phase.
Yeah.
When I was out of it.
Yeah.
So to me, they're like for younger people, is how I have always thought of them. And then when you said we were going to do the episode, I was like, okay, like, just because I never thought they were for me doesn't mean that I won't like them. Turns out I don't like them.
But what do you think if you were younger you'd like them?
No. I just think objectively they're not a good band. I think the lyrics are poor. I don't like his voice. One or two songs came on, I was like, oh, this is kind of catchy, and then he starts singing and then the lyrics are bad and I'm like, no.
What about the first album?
No. Like, nothing did it for me. I didn't like, there wasn't one album that stood out as being better than the rest. I just don't like them. And I was surprised at how much I didn't like them. Because I did.
I'm surprised at how much you don't like
them. I went
them.
in, like, to give them a chance and think, oh, maybe I will like them. But, no.
Having said that, I don't necessarily like them, as in, I'm not doing them because I think they're particularly amazing or anything, but I'd have a bop along to definitely at least their first album.
The first two albums, I think, were the most kind of emo-y, pop-punky kind of thing.
I just think you can't have a podcast about emo bands and not mention Kellin Quinn.
Yeah,
so
he's on every other song in the world. I always think it's a girl. Every time.
It is not a girl.
Every time I hear a song he features on, I'm like, oh, they got a girl in on this. And then I'm like, nope, it's Kellin Quinn again.
Do you know what I was shocked by? Their age. Do you know what age they're? They're older than us, like.
Older?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like 37. Which I was shocked by. I just assumed they were these like young kids, but they're not.
Yeah, I would have thought so as
well.
It
just sounds like a
kid. Or a young girl.
I do think this episode is probably a good one to do after our last episode, because that was heavy.
Yeah, even for the next episode, I thought of every band I thought of. I was like, I just don't want to get into anything
Same.
really heavy.
I was like, okay, I don't want anyone.
Yeah,
this is not going to be the most controversial episode. But it's going to be a nice, pleasant episode.
Okay,
are you ready?
Yeah, I know literally not one single thing about them apart from Kellin Quinn is in the band.
I
don't know anything about them.
Where you don't know anything about them because you're going to learn now. Okay, Sleeping with Sirens formed in 2009 in Orlando, Florida. It was formed by a guy called Brian Calzini, who was originally in a band known as Paddock Park. When Paddock Park broke up, Brian Calzini formed Sleeping with Sirens almost immediately with guitarist Nick Trombino. They found the rest of their band members in Orlando, including Kellin Quinn, who was the former vocalist of another band called For All We Know. The band wrote and recorded 2 songs together, TheBomb.com and...
No. Oh, absolutely not.
And Big Gulps with this lineup. However, shortly after this, Brian Calzini left and Kellin Quinn took over all of the vocals. He has stated the band simply wanted to go in a different direction and there was no harsh feelings between him and his former bandmates.
As someone who's just returned from Milan, I'm appreciating the Italian names of everybody. Hey, it's me, Nick Trombino.
Brian Calzini. Would you not be raging?
I don't know why I'm being American, Italian-American
as
opposed to Italian, but like...
Jersey Shore type thing. You'd be raging if you're Brian Calzini, though, and you formed this band, and then we're like, well, I'm gonna leave, and they became really famous.
They were like, okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.
We can do this without you. And seemingly, they could.
Any idea where their name came from? What do you think of when you hear their name?
I mean, I know what a siren is. It's like a mermaid who lures men to their deaths and all.
Okay, you did way better than I did because...
You didn't know that?
Well, I did know that, but my initial thought when you say the word siren is Nina, Nina, Nina.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it made sense that they were riding mermaids.
Okay. You are correct. The band's name...
riding mermaids.
It has to do with the aspects of the underwater world, like all the sea creatures and the nice sounds the sirens make. Kellin has been quoted as saying, "We knew we were going to create watery music."
It's pretty watery, watered down. I see that.
The band's debut album, With Ears to See and Eyes to Hear, was released in March 2010 through Rise Records. And I literally only learned when I wrote this that it's not with eyes to see and ears to hear.
It's the opposite, is it?
It's the opposite because they're trying to be cool, but I
never got that.
Yeah. Considering they only formed the year before, I do think this is an impressive debut album. You obviously don't.
I didn't like the music, but it's very like polished and everything.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't sound like a first effort
First
kind of
album.
thing. Yeah.
Critics praised the vocal abilities of Kellin Quinn, but some were harsher about the overall feel of the album, saying it was too mainstream influenced. Which I do get.
Yeah.
I do get a vibe of that from them.
Yeah. Like, I think it's quite generic.
Yeah. Generic. That's a good one. Yeah. Following the release of the album, the band went on tour with We Came as Romans.
We Came as Romance.
Romance. Broadway, who is Nick Trombino, the guitarist's previous band, and Tides of Man. The album also features guest vocals from none other than Dave Stevens, which I only found out when writing this. Yeah.
I was thinking it's kind of cool that he brought his old band on tour, like, to support them. Is it support or with them?
Just says with.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe they're all like on the same record label.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking more like they got them to support them because they were doing well and then they were bringing them up as well, which I thought was cool.
That is cool. Let's go with that. So this album debuted at number 7 on the Billboard Top Heat Seekers chart and has since been certified gold. Shortly after this album dropped, though, Nick Trombino and their other guitarist, Brandon McMasters, left and were replaced by Jesse Lawson and Jack Fowler. There's no real controversial story out there for why they left. Most people say it was simply creative differences, and they've both gone on to do other musical projects since. Which I think they always say that. And I feel like it's always a lie.
Yeah, and then it always comes out that they were just dickheads.
They just hated each other. So the band's next album, Let's Cheers to This, was the first album to feature the 2 new guitarists. It was announced in March 2011 while the band were supporting Of Mice and Men and on tour. Of Mice and Men, I would not have put in the same category as Sleeping with Sirens.
No.
The same like era, maybe, but not genre.
Of Mice and Men, I've heard a few of their songs, and they're a band that I want to listen to more because
They're
I
great.
do think I like them.
You would like
from
them.
what I've heard,
Yeah.
but I just, me, just don't listen to music.
So apparently the album's original working title was Who Are You Now, being named after a Christian moral, but it was renamed due to the album not actually having any religious attributes. I have no idea what this means really, but I thought it was an interesting fact. I don't know
Are they religious, I wonder?
I don't think so, and I also don't know what Christian moral is. Who are you now? What?
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, remember that verse where he says that?
So Christian.
Jesus says that to the Corinthians.
Or the, like, what are they called? Apostles? Disciples. So the album was officially released in May 2011. The actual themes of the album include relationships, self-reflection, and divorce.
Well, that's not very water-based, is it?
No, they didn't say it was going to be watery based. They just said the music was going to be watery.
Like, what does that even mean?
Just well hydrated.
Diluted, like, not packing a punch.
I don't know.
Just watery.
I do think, were you getting vibes of like Benji and Joel Madden and their dad leaving? I was getting these vibes from these songs.
I smell that.
Also, random fact, I think at one stage, or maybe still, Benji Madden was their manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I read it somewhere that they mentioned something about their manager, Benji, but also this band is so hard to find anything about. You read
I was going to
them-
say, shouldn't you have researched this for the episode?
I fucking did. I tried so hard. And do you know what just keeps coming up when you research them? Is all these like emo fanfic things about them all sleeping with each other. And I'm like, this is not what I want right now.
I saw, completely unrelated, a tweet the other day, and someone has a tattoo on their lower back that says Frerard. You know, like Frank and Gerard fanfics where they call them Frerard. Someone has a tramp stamp that says that. Mm-hmm. Isn't that wild?
When did they get said from?
Oh, like it's old. But they said somebody recognised them from it. That was the whole point of the tweet.
Oh no. Well, I'm shocked that you actually know what Frerard means, because I'd be like, what?
Yeah, I'm on the weird side of Twitter, you know that.
Okay, so anyway, back to Sleeping with Sirens and this album. So the band were apprehensive about including the song Your Nickel Ain't Like My Dime, but according to Kellin Quinn, it has a vibe that not many bands can pull off in our scene. So he's not short of confidence. Yeah, but you know, I actually also don't. Following this album's release, Sleeping with Sirens toured around the US and Europe with bands such as Skylit Drive, Alitana, We Came as Romans, and Pierce the Veil. Fun fact, I always get Pierce the Veil confused with Sleeping with Sirens.
Yeah, they're the same band in my head.
Same band. Doesn't help that they had a song together. The album reached number 28 on the US Billboard 200 chart, but it is widely cited as the band's breakthrough album. Dun, dun, In 2012, they released their first EP, If You Were a Movie, This Would Be Your Soundtrack, and oddly enough, this is how I discovered them. This is the songs that I heard first. I have no idea how I came across it, but I thought it was a cool little EP, and I remember then going and listening to the original versions of the songs and finding them so strange, because I was so used to the acoustic ones, and I think I prefer the acoustic ones.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I hated it. But this EP was super successful and debuted at number 17 on the Billboard Top 200 charts. So Kellin Quinn teased a new album at the end of that year, stating, "If the world doesn't end before 2013, we'll deliver an amazing album to you." I think that's what he sounds like.
Was that in reference to, like, people thought the end of the world was coming in 2012?
Did they?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know. But that was definitely a thing.
Not like the millennium.
Yeah, well, there was 2000 and then 2012. I don't know why 2012 was it like something to do with the doomsday clock or something. There was definitely something people thought that the world was ending in 2012.
Do you know what? This makes way more sense now that you've said that.
Because I thought
context is everything.
There was a second where I was like, why is he just being like it?
Yeah, I was like, why would the world end? Okay. So he posted in February 2013 that he had just finished recording vocals for the album. This album was produced by Cameron Mizell, who had produced their debut album as well. In March and April, the band went on a headlining tour of the US called the Take It or Leave It Tour.
I'll leave it, thanks. Not for me.
At the end of this tour, they announced their new album titled Feel would be released in June through Rise Records. It debuted at number 3 on the US Billboard 200 chart, making it one of the highest charting post-hardcore albums of all time. Which is nuts to me. I didn't pay attention to this album at all. Never even heard of it.
Would we call it post-hardcore?
So my favourite genre, as we all know, is post-hardcore. Because all the bands I like fit into that genre. I don't really know what it is. I wouldn't have put them in it.
No.
I'd be like Senses Fail, Silverstein, Funeral for a Friend. They're all post-hardcore to me. These are not. These are just emo.
But their first 2 albums were like kind of emo. And then I felt like the third one was very different.
They all got a bit different. They did that thing again where they're like...
Yeah.
So
we'll try something new.
Yeah. It features guest vocals from one of our least favourite men, Machine Gun Kelly. Shaylee Borg... Do you do French?
Bourget.
Yeah, sure. Of J Shell. Franz from Attila. I always read that as Attila. And Maddie Mullins from Memphis Mayfire. You'd like Memphis Mayfire.
Would I?
Yeah, you would.
You
actually genuinely would. Again, people praised the vocals of Kellin Quinn on the album, saying it felt like a shining light in an increasingly homogenized post-hardcore landscape.
Okay.
You don't even know what that means. That summer, the band played Warped Tour and then went on a tour of Europe and the UK. However, midway through this tour, it was announced guitarist Jesse Lawson had left the group to focus on his family. With a post on the band's social media accounts, he stated there was no hard feelings, again, and no hate. However, 2 years later, he revealed a bit more about his decision in an interview on the Bad Christian podcast. He maintained...
Christian again?
Yeah, maybe they are all Christian, I don't know. He maintained he still wished nothing but the best for the band, but admitted the intense attention focused on lead singer Kellin Quinn was difficult to cope with. He said it was very much the Kellin show, but did point out that it was nothing that he did on purpose. That's just how it went. Which I guess is what we see with a lot of bands. It's always about the lead singer, unless someone else has a bigger personality, like Pete Wentz.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like, was it jealousy? Is that he's like, he couldn't deal with not getting enough attention? That's weird.
Yeah, but I do feel like Sleeping with Sirens are a Kellin Quinn.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't be Sleeping with Sirens without him, because it is his vocals that are the whole, do I want to say appeal of them? Or like, what makes them different? So following Lawson's departure, Nick Martin was drafted in to fill in on guitar. So on July 6, 2014, the band released pictures of themselves in the studio recording new music with none other than Mr. John Feldman.
And I didn't like it? I am surprised.
I know! The same month, they announced they would be headlining a world tour alongside Pierce the Veil. Now, why you gotta confuse us like that?
Going to go see the same band twice. Same show.
With support from Beartooth and This Wild Life. They also announced they had parted ways with Rise Records and were working as an independent band. However, just 2 months later, they were signed to Epitaph Records. So they're obviously like, this ain't working. I feel like when bands say they're an independent band, it's just because they can't get another label. And then
they sign to a big label, and then they're like, we actually hate being signed to a big label, and then they wanted to move off it.
Yeah, something. So their fourth studio album, They're just literally releasing albums every year here.
Yeah.
Madness was released in March 2015 through Epitaph and is considered a more pop rock style sound.
Yeah.
Did you like this album?
No, I didn't like any of them.
So when I say did you feel anything different about this album? Was it different to any of the others? No, I feel like it was kind of the same.
Yeah, it didn't stand out to me at all.
What stood out to me really was the album cover. Did you see it?
Which one was that?
It's like them in the dark.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
yeah,
faces.
yeah.
It was very like Westlife.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me.
So oddly enough, the band had actually recorded 13 tracks with another producer in Tennessee, but after going to John Feldman to record 1 or 2 songs, they scrapped their previous songs and redid the whole album with them.
The John Feldman effect right there, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
it. The 2 bonus tracks on the album, Parasites and 2 Chord, were produced by the original producer Nick Raskulinekos. Raskulinis?
Just slides off the tongue, that one. Raskulinich.
Yeah, that sounds better. Madness debuted at number 13 on the Billboard 200 and received generally positive reviews on Metacritic, but one particular critic states, Sleeping with Sirens has tried to appeal to every group that has ever taken an interest in their particular sound, creating a disorientating, cluttered set of songs that lacks any definitive direction. I agree.
Yeah.
Despite this, the album was still nominated for Album of the Year at the 2016 Alternative Press Music Awards. In June 2016, the band went on an acoustic tour called the We Like It Quiet Tour.
Oh, wow, okay.
With support from the Somerset and Nick Santino, and that autumn they supported All Time Low around the US before embarking on their own headlining tour in December with support from State Champs, Tonight Alive and Waterparks. I feel like what's going on here is they're basically releasing an album every year, touring, releasing another album, touring, releasing an acoustic EP, touring.
Yeah.
The usual. And Kellin Quinn still has all this time to be doing songs with other people.
He never stops singing, ever.
Never stops singing. So the band's relationship with Epitaph didn't last long, as the following year they were signed to major label Warner Brothers.
I thought Epitaph was a fairly major label.
Yeah, but not as big as Warner Brothers.
Fair.
I don't know where they get the time for these things, because just 6 months after their winter headlining tour, they teased the word gossip with their fans, and a week later announced their 5th studio album, Gossip, would be released in September 2017. And how weird is this? The first single, Legends, was released the next day, and the song went on to be used as Team USA's official anthem for the 2018 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games.
I don't know what song that is off the top of my head.
Also, like, before I'd even heard that song and I read this, I was like, I can imagine what the song's going to be. It's going to be all these, like, fanfares and something like, we were born as legends. And that's basically what it is. Yeah. Remember me for centuries. Yeah, one of those. Except not as good.
That's the first thing that came into my head, even though I know that song already exists and it's not Sleeping with Sirens.
So this album was definitely less post-hardcore and more pop-orientated than their previous albums. Did you think so?
More pop. Gossip? Yeah, I think so, yeah. That sounds familiar.
I listened to it and I was like, this is all the same tune. Every song is the same tune.
I just, like, for me, what stood out about them is the songwriting being so poor. I couldn't get over that.
Yeah. And I was saying about the lyrics, when I was listening to them, there's a lot of, like, cliche lyrics in them.
The deepest things in any of the songs are just cliches.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the rest of the lyrics are just like, man, that makes me feel sad. And that makes me mad at my dad. Like, it's just like so basic. That's not an actual song, but in case you're wondering, but it could be, because that's that close. Or just repeating the same line. It's like, and then you broke my heart, and then you broke my heart, and then you broke my heart, and then you broke my heart. And that's like the whole chorus. And I'm just like, what? Like, try.
Yeah, I can't remember what song I was listening to today, but it was just one of these, like, classic phrases, like, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back or something. It was just like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And also on this album, there was a lot less of Kellin Quinn and his vocals. It was just all very samey, same tune, same song. Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Nope. In an interview with Alternative Press, Kellin said that surprisingly, being with a major label didn't affect their writing and recording process. However, every single song on this album is written by Kellin and some other producer or songwriter. There's few songs that the rest of the band contribute to at all. They toured worldwide to promote the album, but it is widely regarded as the album where most fans dropped off and lost interest in them.
I wonder just about what you said there about the rest of the band not being involved in the songwriting much. Is that why your man left? That it was the Kellin Quinn show and he was doing everything and the others didn't get a look in?
But they don't anyway. Like, you know, that song, for example, King for a Day with Pierce the Veil, it's just Kellin Quinn. Like, Kellin Quinn could release all these songs by himself and call himself Sleeping with Sirens.
Yeah.
It's like Paramore, you know. But it is, like, shocking. Like, literally, they did not contribute to any of these songs whatsoever.
Yeah. But was it like... I doubt you'd be in a band and be like, yeah, they're all gone off to write today and I'll just, like, join in and play the drums.
Yeah. Play what you wrote for me.
You obviously want to be involved in the process if you're in a band, so that's wild to me.
But I bet they're glad they weren't involved in it now, because they're all shit. They all readily admitted afterwards that none of them were on the same page when making this album, and issues in their personal lives were seeping into the band's dynamic and also the creative process. Kellin even publicly declared that he wished the band had just taken a break instead of making gossip.
Oh.
Which is harsh.
Like, I know I didn't like any of the albums, but that one didn't stand out particularly bad. I mean, they were all pretty samey to me.
I think I wrote this before I listened to it, so I was waiting for it, you know. And then when I listened to it, I was like, yeah, it is shit. So the album definitely marked a change for the whole band, as after its release, Nick decided to quit drinking alongside their guitarist. They all noticed a difference in themselves when writing and recording, particularly in Kellin, with Jack, their other guitarist, stating writing a record with him being sober was a completely different process. They were all sober while writing and recording their 6th studio album, and they were all, quote, very happy, very coherent, and very clear.
How drunk were they? Cause this man shot songs, and sounded like you did the part that's like
I think we just made a song.
Oh my god, is that Sleeping Sirens song? Coherent. That's just like...
That is so
wild.
Funny. We're all really happy and really coherent.
First of all, we could understand each other when we spoke, which is first step.
That was the problem. Their major label span didn't last long, as this 6th studio album was released through Sumerian Records in September 2019.
Oh, they've come before, but I can't remember who.
I think this might be the whole Benji Madden connection thing, but again, I couldn't really find any info. This album is called How It Feels to Be Lost, and it returns to the band's post-hardcore roots. Matt Good was one of the producers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love Matt Good.
A week before the album's release, the band suffered a blow when drummer Gabe Barham departed the band. And in no surprise whatsoever, they released a statement saying there was no hard feelings. They were just going in different directions musically.
Maybe he was still incoherent.
Gabe, we can't understand you. No, Gabe.
Maybe that's why the other people weren't involved in writing the songs. They were too drunk, they passed out.
Shortly afterwards, they announced that Matty Best from Tonight Alive would be taking over drumming duties. The next month, they supported Bring Me the Horizon on their headline US tour, and then headlined their own tour around the US in January and February the following year. In 2021, a single called Bloody Knuckles was released as the lead single from the then untitled upcoming album. A year later, another single featuring Spencer Chamberlain was released simultaneously, with the album's announcement. The album, called Complete Collapse, features guest vocals from other artists such as Charlotte Sands and Royal and the Serpent, and does feature Matty Best as the drummer, so essentially he is basically the drummer for 2 bands now. Like, he's still listed as the drummer for both those bands.
Oh, because I was thinking he must have left Tonight Alive to drum for them.
No, how would you keep up with all that shit?
Well, Tonight Alive, I feel like they come up a lot on episodes supporting other bands, but I don't think they're that big, so presumably their schedule isn't as jam-packed.
This is also the last album to feature lead guitarist Jack Fowler, who departed the band in July 2022 as he decided it was time for the next chapter in his life. He was replaced on tour by Tony Pizzuzzi of The Word Alive, just to make it confusing with the whole Tonight Alive / The Word Alive.
But I do enjoy that they got another Italian name in there. Pizzuri.
So they toured the UK last year and are currently touring the US, and that is it for Sleeping with Sirens. That's all I have. That's all I got.
Wow, really isn't a lot going on.
Not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. Now, the controversy. So, I can officially announce I don't think any of them are perverts.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
No pervert klaxon.
Or at least nobody has accused them of being perverts. So, oh, actually, no, I'm telling lies. Never mind. Never mind.
All perverts. All perverts all the time. Non-stop pervert party.
It's a given that they're all perverts. Okay, let's go back. Right, so Ollie Sykes called out Kellin Quinn in 2013 for his controversial Polaroid package, which included an autographed Polaroid photo with him, a group question and answer session with him, a signing session with Sleeping with Sirens, a large double-sided autographed poster, early entry, and a general admission ticket to the Fieldist tour. So Ollie tweeted, "Next USA tour, Ollie Sykes special Polaroid package. Take a photo with me. Special price. Absolutely no charge at all. Fucking cock stars."
Wow. Okay, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
A lot of bands do these like meet and greet packages where you have to pay
Stupid amounts of money. Yeah. Kellin responded by saying, "I feel like this is an amazing deal for $80. If you disagree, then don't buy it. No one is forcing you, Kay."
But that's what I was going to say. I wonder how much it is. Like, if it was like $500, you'd be like, okay, that's insane. But like, $80 is actually kind of a deal.
And I think most people, when they heard this, thought he was charging $80 for a photo with him. But it's like, no, you get all this other shit in it as well.
And there was a lot of stuff there, to be fair.
So to be fair, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, if Ollie Sykes is trying to claim he'd do all that for free, I don't think he would.
I don't... Bring Me tour a lot, but I don't think they do any kind of packages like that at all. But it's like, you just don't get to meet them or get, like, you know what I mean? You don't get the benefits of that. I suppose 2013 as well, maybe it wasn't the done thing then, because it is now, like, a really popular thing to do.
Not to keep bringing her up, but, like, some of the shit Taylor Swift, like, is selling is absolutely mental. Like, and you literally get a lanyard. And it's like, €500 for a lanyard. Like, what? But the problem with all this stuff is that people are paying it.
Yeah.
So, like, there's obviously loads of people who are paying $80 for this. So Kellin went on to say, "Keep in mind," I think this is really funny, "Polaroid film is super expensive. You're getting the ticket to the show. You get front row over anyone else. If you only want to pay general admission, then just do that. However, if you do like the idea of doing all these things included, it's only $80. I would never charge someone money for just a picture with me. I try and do anything and everything for my fans. I do in fact have a family, and that family needs to be fed. So thanks for supporting us and helping me continue to tour. Without you, there is no us. Love you, Kellin."
I will say as well, like, that is something that is common knowledge, is how little bands get paid on tour. Like, they're always saying, like, smaller bands are always tweeting and stuff about it and being like, please buy our merch. Like, we get like nothing from ticket sales. Yeah. Such a small percentage. And then not selling physical CDs with everything being online, they get like so little money from Spotify. So like, they need to find ways to make money. Yeah.
And I know this is 2013, but like, how much money did we pay for Bring Me the Horizon tickets?
Yeah.
Probably 60, 70 quid. Yeah. But my only gripe with this whole scenario is how much it's like the Kellin Quinn show. Like, even the way he says, "Thanks for helping me continue to tour," and like, my fans, it's very like, what about the rest of the band? You know? And then here's the big scandal, okay? In 2020, Kellin Quinn, the Kellin Quinn show, was accused of cheating on his wife. So Kellin has been married to Caitlin Laman since 2013, and they have 2 children together. And she also has 2 children from a previous relationship who he has adopted.
Okay.
However, a TikToker called Maddie O'Neill posted a video claiming that she would expose a pop-punk frontman for cheating on his wife with her. She did not name any names, but the song she used was "King for a Day," a collaboration between Kellin Quinn and Pierce the Veil. Seeing that Pierce the Veil frontman Vic Fuentes is not married, many assumed that Kellin is the one being accused. Another video was then posted showing screenshots of a text conversation between Maddie and the cheater. The conversation involved them discussing why they were still awake at 5 a.m, with the person replying and quoting lyrics from a song Kellin is featured on. However, many fans leapt to his defense, saying the messages are faked and this girl was either a shunned groupie or just someone looking for attention and influence.
Hard to say, obviously, because we don't know what the truth is.
Yeah.
But I will say that if he did cheat, it's definitely not just the one instance.
And I will also say that if this girl, like, calling it out on TikTok is not the best way to do it. You know, she's clearly just looking for attention. Also, I've seen the messages and they're very, like, tame. Like, it's literally like, why are you awake? Can't sleep. Cool. Night.
Cheating bastard!
Now, having said that, I would not like my other half to be texting someone at 5 a.m. to be like, why are you still awake? But anyway. So Kellin addressed the controversy himself by tweeting, I love my wife, I love my kids, and we have a real life. Trying to cancel people to get follows is pure fucking evil.
Fair.
I agree. Fair.
Nothing wrong said there.
And then just as another little fun fact, if you go on to, you know, the discography, I can't say the word discography.
Discography, yes.
Sure. Page for Kellin Quinn, he appears on 74 songs with other artists.
74?
Yeah.
When does he see those 4 children of his?
Like, literally, it's just like year after year after year. It's like Kellin Quinn, Kellin Quinn, Kellin Quinn. Like, loads of songs.
I don't even like his voice.
Machine Gun Kelly and everyone just like, Kellin Quinn, Kellin Quinn, Kellin Quinn.
Why does he need to be on that many songs?
I don't know, but like, it's very much the Kellin Quinn show. You do feel a bit bad for the others.
Yeah.
And actually, I did listen to the Lead Singer Syndrome podcast with him. It was a short one because I think they were on Warped Tour and they were like squishing 3 artists into the one episode. But I was listening to it, I was like, surely that's not him. I was listening to it for ages and I was like, no, it is him. Because he wasn't mentioning anything about like he didn't mention an album name or anything. And I was like, which one are they talking to? He sounds like a child. He's like, yeah, man, like, yeah, it's just okay. And I was like, what?
I really want to look up his talking voice now.
That's why I was shocked when he was like 37.
Well, yeah.
But maybe that makes sense as to why he sings like that. There is a name for his vocal range. It's like a leggero tenor or something. Apparently it's like really rare.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know anyone else who sings like him, to be fair.
No. But I mean, that's it. To be fair to the band, if they have had any controversies, they've hidden it very well.
Yeah. They've been around for a while and like they're so big, you'd imagine you'd hear more. And
if you look up, like, literally the first thing is how all the band members left because Kellin Quinn was sleeping with them. But that's made up. That's
wow.
You heard it here first, guys. No. Totally made up. So I don't think I'm actually the biggest fan of them, to be honest. And I will definitely go back and listen to that first album, but the rest, nah.
Yeah, no, I won't be listening to them again.
No.
And I'm, like, genuinely, I'm kind of disappointed about that because I did think I might be finding a new band.
Yeah.
But no. I did not. I found nothing.
I'll try again with the next one.
You'll find a band that I will like, maybe.
It was a struggle because every band that I went to either had 74,000 albums, which I just wasn't ready for, or really bad pervert stories, and I just wasn't ready for that either.
Yeah.
So, what about your next band?
Well, are we going to do our songs first?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we usually do? Okay, what is your song on repeat?
My song on repeat is the very first song off With Ears to See and Eyes to Hear. It's If I'm James Dean, You're Audrey Hepburn.
Don't really remember. But I do think I had a feeling that when I started listening to it, like the very first song of the very first album that I put on, I was like, okay, maybe this could be a thing. So it's probably not that bad.
It's a good one.
My song on repeat, which I'm genuinely not going to repeat, but if I had to, Sirens, which is the first song on their latest album.
I did like. Did I like their latest album? I preferred their latest album to the rest of them.
Maybe it was just because I did such a slog of like those middle albums that I really didn't like.
Yeah.
Then when I put that on and Sirens was the first song, I was like, oh wait, maybe we're onto something.
Yeah.
And then the next couple of songs, I was like, nope,
still
don't like them.
Okay, song to skip besides all of them.
My song to skip is from the first album.
No.
And it's called Let Love Bleed Red. Yeah. Terrible song.
Do you see how they kind of started off with like cool names?
Thebomb.com.
2.0.
You kill me in a good way.
Captain Tying Knots versus Mr. Walkway.
And then what? They just got boring, the other albums?
Yeah. So my song to skip is on Gossip. and it's called Hole in My Heart.
I feel like every album had one slow acoustic song that was like cheesy and embarrassing.
Yeah, that'd be that one.
Yeah.
So, no thanks.
Because when I listened to the first album, I was like, oh god, this song's really bad. And then I felt like on every album after that there was a similar song. But I was like, oh,
the
just
song's
stick to my
also
first
really
song.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but in general, I probably won't be repeating anything or listening to them ever again.
No.
So there's that.
Did you listen to an acoustic EP?
No, I didn't listen
It's
to
actually
EPs.
not bad, yeah.
Sorry, bitches.
Sorry, bitches is right. Don't take my word for it.
So my next band that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So as I said, we had 2 heavy episodes with Aiden and Linkin Park, and every band I thought of, I was like, ooh, they'd have a good story. That'd be really spicy. And then I was like, I don't think I want to go so spicy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do The Ghost Inside.
Okay.
Don't know if you know them at all.
No.
I, actually, over the last couple of years, people have said to me, well, not past couple of years, we only had the podcast over a year, but, before, people as well have said to me, you should do this band, they have a good story.
Okay.
And it is, dramatic.
Okay.
If you know the band, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil it, but, I feel like it's a redemption story, good things come out of it. So, that's why I want to do it, because it's more positive than just doing a big negative thing again.
Okay. How many albums?
5 or 6 or something. It's not too bad either.
Okay.
I've never listened to them before. I've heard a song or two and I quite like them, but
I feel like I've heard of them,
yeah, they've been around for years.
but I'd probably get them confused with some other band with a similar name.
There's a lot of bands that have ghost in the name, so
yeah,
it's The Ghost Inside for when you're listening.
Imagine I come up and I'm like, oh,
I've been listening to a different band the whole time. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm excited to listen to them because I don't really know what to expect.
yeah.
It's new for me as well. But
It's a brand new for me.
yeah.
Brand new. I can't even name one song.
I
Nothing.
think they're, well, I started writing a little bit of the episode and they're called metalcore all the time.
Oh.
But they call Bring Me metalcore and Bad Omens and stuff metalcore.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'd always intrigued to see what band you pick because I struggle sometimes so much that I'm always I'm just expecting you to pick a band that I would pick, if you know what I mean. I'm she's going to pick a band that I have planned, then I'm going to be like, damn it! But obviously not. You always come right out of left field with me.
Keep you on your toes.
Okay, I'm excited for that one. I'm excited.
So if you want to see more of us, go to our social media pages. Media? What's
Media? Go to our social media. We've lost our minds.
We are Foundations of Emo on Instagram and TikTok, and we are Foundations Emo on X. We never post there, but sure, look, give us a follow anyway.
Also, you probably can't see it because the microphone's in the way, but we have merch. No, we don't. We have this one t-shirt that I'm wearing, and it's really cool.
We're not recording.
I know we're not recording, but I was I'm just going to look at myself. The logo is on my left.
Breasticle.
I was going to say tit, but one second. Anyway,
didn't your dad listen to this podcast one time?
Shh, move on. Dad, you never heard this. Okay, bye.